The chapter begins in the Wanfu world, which is a secret world under the Kyushu Federation. Beilin City is one of the 7 large cities and is said to contain 1 inch of land and 1 inch of gold. There is a house in the heart of the land that is surrounded by mountains and rivers. In the capital citadel, Bai Xiaowen, the young lord of Beilin City, freshens up and says he looks handsome in his new life. He stares at the mirror and says he was a soldier in his previous life. He crossed into his current world where there are all kinds of spirits and beasts. A res-eyed silverfish emerges and tells Xiaowen to go and have breakfast and says he shouldn't keep everyone waiting. Xiaowen says the fish is a gold-level pet and it belongs to his father. Xiaowen goes to the dining and meets the rest of his family. His grandfather, Bai Jingcheng, says he will be giving a speech at the year's awakening ceremony. He says Xiaowen will participate in the awakening ceremony and says it's nice for both of them to be present. Xiaowen says the Federation hosts an awakening party to help young people awaken. A person who successfully awakens will be allowed to go to Imperial College and learn about Beastmasters. Those who fail to awaken will have to go to normal school. He says it's as important as when he wrote a college exam in his past life. Xiaowen says there's nothing to lose if you don't awaken, but says those are comforting lies. He says a family will be looked down on if they don't have a special talent. Xiaowen woke up to the self-awakened A-level talent for Imperial Beasts. A-level spirit talent has intuition that helps with fighting and perceiving the thought of spirit beasts. Xiaowen is in a stable situation because awakening rituals don't affect him anymore. Jingcheng talks to himself and says Xiaowen is a genius that other families want to cultivate. He says Xiaowen may be able to do what he can't do in the future. He says Xiaowen must be tempered before he loses his stability. Jingcheng tells Xiaowen not to underestimate the awakening ritual and says the awakening god stone is a top-level treasure. At the beginning of the new era, beasts emerged and caused great danger to the human race. The ancestors of the human race found the awakening godstone and the ear of beast control again. He says some families allow their already awakened children to attend the ritual so they can build the royal beast space. Xiaowen asks if the Federation is alright with it, and Jingcheng says they don't care. Xiaowen says he will take the awakening ceremony seriously and says the awakening stone's magical power is amazing. Xiaowen and Jingcheng go to the location of the awakening ceremony, and Jingcheng says he's going to prepare for his speech. He stares at the building, and a woman organizes the people who are present for the awakening ritual. She and some other girls see Xiaowen and rush to him while they say they haven't seen him in a long time. Several girls surrounding Xiaowen and says he didn't attend school for a month. He tells himself that the affiliated college of Beilin is the most advanced in the city. Most of its students are children of various dignitaries, and he is at the top because his grandfather is the lord of the city. A fat boy emerges from the crowd and rushes to hug Xiaowen. His name is Yuan Potian, and Xiaowen dodges as Yuan rushes him. He says he missed Xiaowen because he was absent for a month. Xiaowen asks Yuan to stop talking to him like that and walks away. Xiaowen says he thought Yuan would be a superhero because of his nickname, but he dismissed the idea when he became fat. Feng Qianyu emerges and tells Xiaowen to admit defeat because of his absence. She says they should make a bet, and the person with the best awakened talent wins. He agrees to the bet and tells himself he has a 90% chance of winning. Xiaowen and Yuan walk away, and Yuan says that Feng family has a special treasure that helps them awaken their talents. Jingcheng addresses the students and says the ritual is just a stage in life and not the end. He wishes them luck in the ritual, and the coordinators guide them into the awakening hall. They enter the hall, and the coordinators tell them to find a place, sit with their legs crossed, and begin awakening their talent. Xiaowen says the awakening stone is an amazing miracle. He sits and begins to meditate as he begins his awakening. A strange surge of energy hits Xiaowen and he screams. He says the awakening energy is out of control and the energy is going straight into his head. His intuition informs him that it's a good opportunity for him, and he continues meditating. The staff notices the surge of energy and see that it's coming from Xiaowen. They rush to inform Jing Chong about what is happening, and Jing Chong arrives. A staff tells him a vision appeared above Xiaowen's head, and nobody knows what is going on. Jing Chong realizes it is the talent vision, and is shocked. He says it is a special phenomenon that occurs when a talent is S level or above. He then realizes that Xiaowen has awakened the talent of beast control. He also wonders if Xiaowen's intuition has mutated into an S rank. He then says that all the beast masters that have ever existed can be counted on 2 hands. Jing Chong asks Mr. Wu if he can enter the Awakening Hall, but Wu reminds him that it is under the Kyushu Federation and he cannot enter. He assures Jing Chong that Xiaowen will be alright. Meanwhile, Xiaowen says there are 3 things between heaven and earth: God's knowledge, Earth's knowledge, and human knowledge. Xiaowen screams as the energy continues surging through him, and it begins to enter his eyes. In the Awakening Hall, where the smoke around Xiaowen clears, he wonders what the knowledge he saw was, and he suddenly sees the Apocalypse Eye. It is a gift with supernatural intuition and foreknowledge. He says he can know various things within a certain radius of his area. Xiaowen says there are 9 levels of Beastmaster talents. Triple S level is at the top of the Imperial Beast Division. He wonders if the mythological talent that no one has heard of is above the Triple S level. A hierarchical mystical system activates, and Xiaowen is able to see people's stats and abilities. He says that nothing in a certain range can be hidden from the Eye of Apocalypse. He gets excited because he will be able to know an enemy's abilities before a fight, and says his chances of winning will be unlimited. Xiaowen looks around and sees the various talented students who have awakened. He decides to check the Awakening Stone's level, and is shocked as he looks at it. He sees that it's part of the ancient tree of life, and sees it doesn't have enough nutrients to grow. He sees that it's the legendary level of the Divine Beast. The candidates begin to line up to register their awakening levels. Xiaowen talks to himself and says the Awakening Stone is a god-level beast in disguise. He wonders if the leaders of the Kyushu Federation are aware, but remembers that he's in a world where the seeds of the Tree of Life are treated as treasures. He realizes that the seed can't grow because of insufficient nutrients, and says the Federation will be shocked if they find out. Xiaowen places his hand on the tester, and it begins to test the level of his talents. He says he has to take the path of genius because he doesn't have a choice. The tester begins to malfunction because it cannot detect levels beyond the A level. Mr. Wu arrives and says it's been a long time since Bai Lin had someone above A level. He instructs the man to register Xiaowen as S level, and says Xiaowen has a bright future. Everyone is shocked as they realize that Xiaowen is S level. The other candidates congratulate him, and Xiaowen walks away as they continue registering their talents. Jing Chong meets Xiaowen and asks him how he feels about the mutation of talent. Xiaowen apologizes and says he didn't use the opportunity to build a space for the beast. Jing Chong tells him not to worry because he has moved from A level to S level. He says they'll use the resources in the palace to build a royal beast space. Xiaowen tries to tell him his actual talent, but his intuition doesn't allow him. He realizes it's a function of the Eye of Apocalypse, and Jing Chong says they should go to the lounge. Xiaowen realizes he can't tell anyone about his mythical talent, and sees that he can even see the levels of beasts. He then realizes that he can see treasures within a 10-meter radius, and says the radius will increase when he gets stronger. He says there's a possibility for the radius to expand across the world, and smiles as he says he will become an omniscient god. A large explosion occurring behind Xiaowen, a giant phoenix emerges, and Jing Chong says it's a gift of S-level talent. He says the current generation of the Feng family must be very good. Xiaowen tells himself he planned to show off his level, but realizes Qian Yu is on the same level as he is. He tells Jing Chong he will go home, and Jing Chong calls Angelica and Peony. He tells Xiaowen to go around with them because there will be people who will try to offend him. They introduce themselves and say they are golden level beast masters. Jing Chong gives Xiaowen the key to the treasure trove and says he should use the items inside to build a royal beast space. Xiaowen thanks him as he takes the key and says the treasure trove contains the power of the crystal wall, which is very beneficial to the growth of the Imperial Beast space. He says an ordinary spiritual crystal needs at least 1,000,000 Kyushu coins and says they are priceless. Xiaowen goes to the treasure trove and Angelica and Peony follow him. He instructs them to wait outside and prevent anyone from disturbing him. Xiaowen uses the key to unlock the door and it confirms his iris and his blood. The giant door opens and Xiaowen walks inside. He says that hundreds of years of the Bai family accumulation are stored there, and only members of the family bloodline can enter. He then says it contains rare treasures that are unparalleled in the outside world. Xiaowen stares at the heart of a phantom spider and says their family got it at an auction for a high price of 150 million. He finds the boxes that contain the crystals and says each box is worth 300 million Kyushu coins. He says there are more than a dozen of the boxes in the treasure trove. Xiaowen says the power of an imperial space relates to the power of the Beast Master. He says he's a Beast Master, so he will need about 200 or 300 crystals to create his Beast space. He activates the Eye of Apocalypse, and it shows him that he needs 999 crystals to create a perfect mythical beast space. Xiaowen is shocked by the amount he needs, but decides to build the imperial space. He then chooses to build the perfect mythical beast space. Xiaowen's dad smiles because everyone is talking about Xiaowen. His mom says the Fang family asked about Xiaowen and says he grew up so fast. Jing Chong asks him to take it easy as he asks why Xiaowen has been in the treasure trove for a week. He senses a breath and realizes that Xiaowen has finished constructing the beast space. Xiaowen completely constructs his beast space and floats around. He's amazed by its size and sees that there are mountains and rivers. The Eyes of Apocalypse informs him that the space can help reduce the growth time of pets. He says there is a rule in the orcs that says the greater the potential, the longer the growth cycle. Spirit beasts with great potential grow quickly in his space, and he can be the youngest and most powerful beast master ever. Xiaowen saying that pets can lose their fighting power if they sustain damage in battle. He says a beast's health will be restored as long as he places it in his imperial space. He says the third effect is disastrous and the talent of spirit beasts has been fixed since their birth. Only a beast's legendary treasure can strengthen or change a beast's talent. He says his imperial space can directly stimulate a beast's hidden talent, with no limit to the number of times. Xiaowen steps out of the treasure trove and sees his family waiting for him. He goes to the dining and eats a lot because he is hungry. He tells Jing Chong that he built his imperial space, and it costs 999 stones. His dad panics because of how much it costs, and Jing Chong says they are fortunate because they are rich. Jing Chong tells Xiaowen that the red-eyed goldfish had laid its eggs and says they can go and contact it as a beast. Xiaowen gets excited but suddenly feels like throwing up because he is hungry. They go to the spirit egg repository and Xiaowen is amazed by what he sees. He sees the Eye of Apocalypse to see the levels of the eggs and says his family is a family of aquatic pets. He says the first pets of the Bai family are all aquatic spiritual pets. He says it is so that the children of the Bai family can establish themselves in the ranks of the Imperial Beast Division in a short period of time. Jing Chong takes Xiaowen to a large glass and summons the red-eyed goldfish, which is Diamond class. He looks at its stats, and Jing Chong talks to the pet. He asks it to bring out its child, and it shows 2 eggs. Xiaowen uses the Eye of Apocalypse to look at the levels and abilities of the eggs, and realizes that the one that appears deformed possesses top amethyst and is born with dual talents. Xiaowen chooses the egg that appears deformed, and Jing Chong is surprised. He tells Xiaowen that it may be difficult for the egg to hatch, and he apologizes to his pet for wanting to take its egg. Xiaowen tells his grandpa that he has a feeling that the egg is the best partner for him, and Jing Chong says he needs to get the consent of the red-eyed goldfish. It places its main scale on the egg and says it will enhance the origin of the water-type spirit beast and also enhances its skill by 10%. He says it's the red-eyed goldfish's way of saying thank you for accepting the deformed egg as his pet. He places the egg in a tank and pours several chemicals that serve as nutrients to help it grow. The egg then absorbs the chemicals and begins to glow. The end. Thank you so much for sticking to the end of the video. Please let us know your thoughts and opinions in the comment section below, and while you're at it, check out these videos for more. We'll see you soon.